Good morning. I'm Steve Gladys, and I teach at George Mason University. Um, I also have a leadership development company of my own. So I do a lot of training both in corporations and at the university. One area that I have a particular interest in is the area of teams. And I've been focused on that for a number of years now. In fact, the last 3 years, we've been researching and just published a book called Leading Teams. And I want to talk to you a little bit about that and try to offer you kind of an advanced class over a series of short videos. Um, what typically happens in most companies is that you get a phone call if you're in training and development or you're in talent development. You get a call from somebody who says, my team's not doing well. We need to do an offsite. And then typically you bring in speakers and motivational folks and have discussions about personality differences and dispute resolution, which is helpful, but for the long term, it just doesn't last. And typically those teams tend to cycle. In fact, research at Harvard by Richard Hackman and his team, Ruth Wegman, Hackman and their team, discovered after several decades of work in researching companies all around the globe, really, that effective teams are a number only in about 20-25% of the time. In other words, almost 80% of the time, between 75 and 80% of the time, teams aren't effective at all. And the question really is why. And their research and some of the research that we did supported that we supported what they found, actually, not the other way around. Is quite interesting. And what we're going to do is try to show that to you in terms of structure of a house. Let me share that with you right now, just so you can understand it diagrammatically. What Hackman and Wegman found, and what we found is that design precedes everything. You have to have design, then launch a team properly, and then finally coach it to move in succession. A lot of times when there's behavioral issues, companies go right for the behavior rather than the design. And what we're going to do is talk about the design and what we found and what Hackman and Wegman found in this discussion. So the sequence is design, launch, and coaching, not intervention right away. That typically doesn't work that well. Again, it's short-sighted. It has immediate, maybe it may or may not have an immediate effect, but if it does, it's immediate and it doesn't really last. So over the next few classes, we're going to talk about design, things like what are the 6 conditions that Hackman and Wegman found? What are some of the critical elements that we found in our book? There are 4 of those. What does a launch look like, or a relaunch of a team? And there's lots of good reasons. We'll talk about why you want to relaunch a team. And then finally, what does coaching look like on a monthly kind of basis, if you will? We welcome you to join us. We hope you have a good time. This is Steve Gladys, and this is our advanced class. Thanks very much, and hope to see you soon.